Hello there, lovely humans. My name is Jamie Hanley, and I am a licensed professional mental health counselor and the creator of the Anxious Goddess Oracle deck. So, all throughout my 20s, I was really anxious. I didn't realize how it was impacting me negatively. I was using unhealthy ways of coping. And throughout my journey being a yoga teacher and then becoming a psychotherapist, as I observed the connection between movement, spirituality, and our mental health, I learned tons of different ways to manage my anxiety and learn how to live with it instead of fighting it and letting it continue to impact me negatively. So I took a lot of these tools and I put them into this Oracle card deck. So it can be used in some different ways. You can just shuffle them and pull one card a day to kind of guide the self-care that you need that day. So you might shuffle them and then spread them out and see which one shows up. So this card says healing isn't linear, and that's something that is so important to remind yourself when you are on a mental health journey, is that healing does not happen in a kind of clear linear fashion. It happens much more in spirals, in loops, in ups and downs, and it's a process. So it's filled with little mental health tips like that. It's also got phases of the moon cards, so you can kind of connect to that energy of the moon and figure out how to use that to co-create and support whatever you're working on. There's also different mental health tips like wise mind, so trying to find the middle path of validating your emotions and acknowledging whatever the facts of the situation are instead of letting your emotions kind of drive the behaviors. Radical acceptance is another one of my favorite DBT skills. So radical acceptance means to accept the reality of your situation. It doesn't mean you actually agree with it or that you support it, but it means that you're able to accept the reality of what is so that you can then move forward from there. So there's all sorts of different reminders, self-compassion, our emotions show up for a reason, reminders to practice gratitude, name 3 sources of inspiration. So it's really easy to work with this deck by just pulling one card a day or one card in the morning and one card at night. Now, if you want to do more like spreads, you would pick 3 cards or 5 cards. There are different spreads outlined in the guidebook that comes with it and lots of journaling activities. When you choose a card, you can turn to the guidebook and find what questions are in there for you to contemplate or maybe go a little bit deeper with in a special journal. There's some spreads where you can kind of parse out the different types of cards that are in the deck and pick from each of those for guidance. There are mental health magic cards, moon cards, cycle cards, elemental, and introspection cards. So they all have these different kind of themes. They work beautifully together, or you can kind of break them up into different sections. So for example, if you wanted to pick a 3-card spread, one that I really like to use with this deck is how did I deal with this situation or similar situations in the past? How am I currently dealing with it, or what do I need to currently deal with it? And then what should I keep in mind as I continue to work with this situation as this continues to evolve in the future? So just for an example, let's spread them out. However you like to shuffle them, spread them, just, use them. This is your mental health toolkit put into a pretty succinct little box. It's even pretty on the inside. So when you think of a situation, center yourself, ground yourself, and then ask yourself, how have I dealt with this in the past? So mindfulness practice came up. Perhaps in the past with this situation, you used a lot of mindfulness, you were very focused on the situation, or maybe the opposite is true, that you really needed to pay closer attention to whatever was going on here. How are we currently dealing with it, or what do we need? Feeling shut down. So the freeze response shows up when our nervous system just goes into complete shutdown to preserve our resources. It is a parasympathetic response where everything just kind of shuts off in our body so that we can survive. So it's currently we need to get ourselves out of that survival mode. And then what should we keep in mind for the future? What is your inspiration around this? What inspires you to resolve this issue? What kind of inspiration do you need for kind of moving forward with healing this issue? So that's just one example of how you can use the deck. And for more information and to dive even deeper into all these skills as you're pulling the cards, you can always reference the Anxious Goddess Workbook. And please find me on Instagram at JamieHanley_ or on my podcast, The Spiritual Counselor, or anywhere else that I might be in the metaverse. So thanks for meeting me here today. Have a wonderful day.